Welcome to The Terrible Take, a mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Dave Bryan. The 2021 NFL Draft is now behind us, and while the Pittsburgh Steelers did a great job of filling positional needs, or as General Manager Kevin Colbert likes to say, wants, with their 9 selections, there are still a few places on the team's depth chart that could stand to be filled with veteran free agent players on the cheap. Colbert indicated on Thursday during a radio interview that the team will constantly monitor the street free agents in the coming days and weeks in an attempt to find a player or two that could fit cheaply into the 2021 plans. Maybe one such player came free on Thursday. That player is none other than safety Bobby McCain, who has now been cut by the Miami Dolphins. The Steelers' safety depth chart is certainly not very deep as we sit here after the draft, as sitting behind starters Minkah Fitzpatrick and Terrell Edmunds sit the likes of Antoine Brooks Jr., John Battle, Trey Norwood, Donovan Steiner, and Lamont Wade. By the way, those last 3 players I named are rookies, and both Brooks and Battle are as green can be from NFL standards. I like the upside of Brooks like many of you listening to this take, but with that said, he's barely played any on defense since being drafted by the Steelers a year ago. As for McCain, he is still well under the age of 30 for starters. He's also dressed for 87 NFL games to date since being drafted by the Dolphins out of Memphis in 2015. He can play all over in the secondary, and while not a special teams demon, he can still contribute some in that phase of the game as well. In short, his entire game and position flexibility makes him a more than serviceable backup player for any NFL team right now. McCain was set to earn nearly $6.5 million in 2021 prior to the Dolphins cutting him, so it might be tough to get him to sign a veteran benefit deal for the minimum. Assuming that's true, it might take a 2-year deal with a modest signing bonus to get McCain to come to Pittsburgh to be the team's primary backup at safety, and maybe even spot nickel defender, as he has played there a little bit since entering the NFL as well. Here's another interesting fact when it comes to McCain. He played with Fitzpatrick in Miami prior to the Alabama product and former first-round draft pick being dealt to the Steelers in 2019. That's got to be worth something, right? The Steelers don't have a lot of 2021 salary cap space to spend right now, so we shall see if McCain is even in the Steelers' price range. We know that Carl Joseph wasn't up for what the Steelers were offering for a backup safety several weeks ago, as he left town unsigned after a free agent visit. He ultimately signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. I will bet heavily that the Steelers will add a safety with experience between now and the start of training camp. I mean, they better add one, right? As of Thursday night, McCain should be at the top of the Steelers' want list when it comes to street free agent safeties, and it will now be interesting to see if they go after him and land him. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Alex Kozora every Tuesday and Friday.